And now it's my honor to introduce our Rotary International Director, Patrick Eakes, who's joining us this evening via video introduction.
Thank you, Andy. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Zones 33-34 Membership Action Plan webinar. I'm really glad you're here and excited about what we're going to share with you tonight. Last month, we focused on helping clubs identify their problem to solve. We talked about how to determine whether your focus should be on attraction or attrition, how to gather meaningful input from your members, and how to use goal setting as the foundation for a strong club membership plan. Tonight, we take the next step. This month is all about intentional membership strategies, how to move from ideas to action, and how to plan with purpose to achieve real, sustainable membership growth. We're going to break this down in very practical ways, focusing on the who, what, how, and when of building a written membership plan. We'll also show you how the Membership Success Center, or MSC, can become one of the most valuable tools your club uses, not just to plan, but to execute, track your progress, and create real accountability as you move forward. Because a plan only works if it's actually used. That means getting the plan out of the boardroom and into the hands of your members, sharing it, talking about it, and coming back to regularly measure progress, celebrate wins, and make adjustments along the way. And most importantly, you're going to hear from two outstanding Rotarians who have done this successfully. They've taken both proven strategies and new ideas and turned them into real results in their clubs. As you listen tonight, I encourage you to think about your own club, take notes, and start identifying the intentional strategies that you can put into action as you build and actively manage your 2026-2027 membership plan. To get us started this evening, I will hand the virtual microphone to Zone 34 Assistant Rotary Membership Coordinator, Don Harris. Don, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Patrick, for taking time to prepare that informative and very relevant spotlight to kick off our meeting tonight. It's an absolute pleasure to have with us today two vibrant Rotarians that have been instrumental in helping their clubs achieve significant year-over-year growth. They've used tried and true best practices and some innovative new ideas to build actionable membership action plans and meaningful net new member growth. This evening, we are focusing, as Patrick said, on the how, who, what, and when of membership action planning. Our objective is to help you build a clear, structured plan tailored to your club's goals. And at the same time, understanding how you can use the MSC as an essential tool to strengthen engagement and retention. Our first guest is Jason Alfonso, a professional engineer and an active engaged member of the Rotary Club of Altamont Springs. The Rotary Club of Altamont Springs is a 48-year-old Central Florida club who are annually in the top 3 clubs in our district in annual foundation giving per capita. For the past 10 years, their membership has historically been around 40 members. In July of 2022, they found themselves with a membership count of 22 members. Jason, serving as the membership chair of the club, orchestrated their first membership action plan. Welcome, Jason. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Don. As Don mentioned, we had both an attraction and an attrition problem. And as we put our membership plan together, the first things we did was to structure our membership committee. We wanted to make sure this committee was a good representation of experienced Rotarians and even some new members. And I know that's kind of strange when you have new members in your club, but we wanted some new members. So we had 2 immediate past presidents. We had a 30-year Rotarian. And our 5th member was a Rotarian for only 3 months. And that constituted our committee. The next thing we did was roles and responsibilities. And the first things we did was to assign a chair for the attraction subcommittee. And there was another chair for our what we call engagement or the attrition subcommittee. The remaining 3 members were divided among these 2 subcommittees. So the first order of business was, what do we do? And we thought the first thing was to let's get a satisfaction survey and an exit interview review. So we looked up all those who had left the club over a period of time, and kind of we had a member describe as to why they left. And then our satisfaction survey showed us, what our members were looking for. As you know, every member joins for a reason. And the unique thing we did this go around is we attached finding out what exactly was their why. And we aligned our membership attraction or retention pitch with the objects of Rotary and the avenues of service. So on this screen, you see the objects of Rotary. For those of you who have not been introduced to it, you will if you take an RLI class. So this was important because we were able to determine, how to set our goals. The next order of business was to set up what we called and what you know as SMART goals. All these goals were specific, they were measurable, they were achievable, they were very relevant, and they each had a timeline. We wanted to make sure that whoever we identified as responsible for an aspect of this plan were able to sort of create these goals in this format. For example, we looked at our onboarding process and updated our what was called our Red Badge program. That was the first year of a Rotarian being a Rotarian. We also worked through our recruitment and engagement program. We figured out, and I think it's a known fact in nonprofits, is if you keep someone for the first 3 years, you most probably keep them for life. And that strategy, that retention, that engagement strategy was helped us to sort of incorporate something like RLI in their first 3 years, making sure that every member that joined the club had a chance to attend RLI. And we will talk about some of our success with that program later. But we planned multiple touch points, lunches, social events during the first few weeks, months of the members onboarding, and give that new member a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose as being a member of our club.
Okay, so that is textbook. I really love how you not only obtain input from your members with your surveys, but establishing, understanding your prospective members, the why, and aligning that with the object of Rotary and service in Rotary. So can you share with us how you further developed your membership action plan?
Yeah, so this is common. We used what's called brain mapping or brainstorming, brain writing. It's kind of developing some kind of a mind mapping where we're able to just get the 5 of us in the room and some other members and kind of just see where the ideas are coming from. So what you see here is our entire mind mapping plan. And if you can see it, there is engagement on one side and attraction on the other. So everything on your right would be ways to bring in the members, and everything on your left would be ways to sort of keep them engaged and reduce attrition. So there's multiple softwares you can do this. You can do this on a regular board, but there's also software, and we use software to be able to sort of create this. I will show you now. So this is a rapid, just ideas coming out. There's no wrong answer. You need a facilitator to be able to sort of bring out the best in that group, or bring out the best in your committee. And it allows very open-ended questions like, what do you think if we sort of went down this path, what would you do? And interaction is key. It's very important that you were able to sort of out here is one of the sides of that diagram, which talks about predominantly our first 2. I mentioned we talked about our Red Badge program, our 3-year onboarding program. As you can see, one of the bullet items there is the Rotary Leadership Institute, the RLI. We talked about family of Rotary, personal engagement. The ideas will flow, and that's how we were able to sort of work on this aspect of attrition. RLI as a strategy, we were able to, and I told you we'll talk about it. We were able to sort of at our last RLI, we had the most number of attendees of the group, our club, and it really became an area where a focus area based on this thing that came out of this mind mapping session, this brainstorming session. So yeah, that's where we are with respect to mind mapping. And as I said, the software is available and easily can be incorporated by your club.
Jason, what an innovative way to develop your target, new member prospecting, retention, and membership strategies. We will drop a link in a few minutes that will have one software option that you can look at to develop this type of chart. And we'll also drop the chart in a little later. But tell me, how has this ongoing planning from 3 years ago to today, how's it worked out for your club?
All right, so I could sort of show you some of our progress. So we, as you know, we had a retention or attrition and an attraction problem, right? We were at 20, 21 or 22 members. We our new member attraction pace, we were consistently meeting that. We were month after month being able to sort of add members. Our next slide will show you the with our progress. We were able to over a period of time kind of when you have a problem to solve, it's either engagement or it's attraction. And in our case, we were able to sort of have neither, which was a great step. So we were doing the right things on both sides to sort of bring in the new members and to make sure they don't leave. But and our last slide will show you that we don't sort of stop. We continuously work on our strategies, and there is strategies related to we're not resting on our laurels, so to speak. We will continue to sort of make sure we sort of try to get to our numbers and make this club highly irresistible.
Well, Jason, thank you for 3 years of solid growth, up to 51 members now from 22. And I've got to say, I've never seen problem to solve as none, but I love how the MSC still recommends some growth strategies. So thank you. Will you hang with us for the Q&A? We're going to visit with Albert a little bit now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you. We're also dropping in the links, some different tools to help stimulate your club's planning strategy and for targeting memberships and prospects. So now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our other featured presenter, Albert Blackman. Albert is president of the Rotary Club of Indian Land. He's not only the current president of his club, but he's also a past president and a district membership chair. With his leadership, his club has experienced significant growth from 26 members in 2022, about the same timeline as Jason's, to 77 members today, with 4 or 5 more scheduled to be inducted later this month. Albert, like Jason, leverages his vocation in sales and marketing to make a huge impact in his club and Rotary. Albert, let's pick up the conversation where we left off with Jason.
Sure.
In 2022, while you were first serving as president of your club, you'd identified your problem to solve, you knew your numbers, you had input for your club, and you'd set up your club membership goals. Let's talk about the strategies and tactics you implemented in your membership action plan and how you implemented them.
Absolutely. Would be delighted to talk about that because when I was the club president in 22, we were one of the fastest growing counties, not only in South Carolina. I mean, we were really growing up here in Indian Land with all these new businesses coming in, whether it's big businesses or small business, mom and pop. I felt that we should have more representation associated with the Rotary Club because that's really what makes the Rotary Club very powerful, if you will. So I knew that we should have more than 20 plus members. So I sought out to say, okay, what is it that we can do in the community to get more potential members in DAC-DB, if you will, because that's our database. In the sales world, we call that, that's our funnel, how we fill the funnel with potential members that we need to reach out to. Well, I went to some basic stuff, even snail mail. People don't get snail mail anymore. Everybody gets the emails or voicemails or text messages. So I wanted to do a snail mail campaign that would help us build our foundation of potential members. And that's exactly what we did. So we targeted the local businesses. And then we would follow up with them in a structured way, making sure that we got personal contacts, who would be our best contact. So that campaign included a lot of follow-up, a lot of communication and next steps. And once we got them, we would bring them on and we'd make sure we do these things called fireside chat that everyone's probably familiar with. We'd also do a grand induction. We make a big deal about new members joining. We make it a celebration, if you will. And then the onboarding, making sure that we do that properly, because Jason alluded to this, that they have a 3-year plan, which I took that note, Jason. Thank you for sharing that with us. And just getting the members involved in the club. The sooner we can get them involved with all the stuff that we've got, that's better for us. So I was delighted to report that we almost doubled the growth. We went from 26 members to 47 members in one Rotary year. And I think we have a slide for that one. So that will show you that we had an 81% increase in membership. So we went from, again, 26 members to 47 in one Rotary year.
Albert, that's just tremendous growth. Wonderful, wonderful work. One thing I'm curious about, this campaign concept. Was that a part of your integral part of your membership action plan?
It was definitely a part of that plan, coupled with the Discovery Rotary. So there's a lot of things that you can get from PETS training. So one of the things that I got from, the PETS training was, in your membership action plan, you should have these things we call Discover Rotary, because when people come to your Rotary meeting, they're going, so what's a 4-way test? Why are they doing the invocation? Why are they standing up doing the Pledge of Allegiance? Why is everyone standing? When do I sit down? All of that type of stuff gets a little confusing and actually a little intimidating. So it was recommending that we do Discover Rotary, and it's something I would certainly recommend for everyone to do because it's focused on the members, people who are coming, and explain to them what Rotary is in our process. So we established a process that said we would have 2 Discovery Rotary sessions throughout the calendar year. So those are set on the calendar every single year now in DACDB. So it's already in the system, and we start a campaign from that. We'll have 6 months before the actual event where we're doing mailings. We're sending out P-mails to all those potential members. Remember I said we sent out that snail mail campaign. So we started building that database of potential members. So each time we would have a Discovery Rotary session, we would send that out and invite them to attend one of those. Would have flyers. We've got all of this in DACDB, as I said before. And one of the key things that I've learned from sales and marketing is how do we make our current Rotarians comfortable in sharing that message? So we had a campaign, if you will, to make sure that we're doing everything we could to equip them with having the proper talking points. We gave them club business cards, we gave them event postcards, and we had reminders throughout the year, before the meeting, the 6 weeks out, to remind them that we need to be inviting folks. So the whole talking point was totally focused on what is Rotary and why you should select Rotary. So all of that helped us with the Discovery Rotary process. One other thing too, I wanted to mention too, one of the things that we discovered was we want our potential members to send us an electronic application. So we're using the system, so they'll send an electronic application. That takes away any human error, which is really good because whenever I'm typing, I get a little happy with my fingers and sometimes put the wrong email. So we've got that submitted now, or we got that changed now. So the nice thing about the system is once they submit the actual electronic application, it goes to proposed in the system. Once it goes to proposed, the club president, the secretary, and the membership chair will get an email saying that someone is in proposed. And I always beat them and going in there to find out who it is because I'm so eager about getting in contact with them. So then that takes on another flavor for us. We can send that person an email, which is a template in the system, to congratulate them for submitting their letter of consideration for membership, and we tell them the next steps. One other thing that I'll add too, we recently started doing this. We now have a monthly new member induction on the calendar as well. So each month, I think it's the 3rd or 4th Tuesday. I think it's the 4th Tuesday of each month. That's when we meet for a lunch meeting. We have inductions already planned. What that has done is it enables us to talk to folks and say, we want you to get your application in so that we can have your induction on this particular day. That is really starting to help us too, as far as getting people involved.
Albert, I love this. That is impressive because essentially you've got to focus on membership and an ongoing process to make it happen. You know,
Yes.
how do you contain a sustainable growth?
Now that one's a little tough because how do we make sure that we've got everybody in the club rowing in the same direction and making sure that this continues year after year? One of the things that we do is during the planning process, which I certainly would encourage everyone to make sure they have other people involved in the planning process, because being a two-time president, I know how it can be. Let me just get this plan together the night before it's due. Not a good strategy. It could work, but it's not the best strategy. So we involve everybody in it. So everybody being the board of directors, and certainly the three levels of presidents being the president, president-elect, and president nominee. We all work together because we want to keep it sustainable. We want to continue year over year. In addition to that, we also make sure that we're covering these items with the entire club. So once a quarter, we have a state of the union or state of the club address, if you will, playing on the political aspect of it. Most of you will know those as club assemblies, where we're talking about the plan. Now, of course, at the beginning of the year, beginning of the Rotary year, we cover the plan with the entire club. And then we provide updates once a quarter to say, here's where we are with membership, here's where we are with foundation, here's how you can help us with any of this. So that's a way that we try to keep everyone engaged on.
All right, that's exciting. I mean, clearly you have a good grasp on all the resources in the Membership Success Center and how to use them along with your plan. But how do you continue to engage leaders using the tools in the Membership Success Center?
Well, my favorite one is something that Jason was showing up there. It's when you take a look at the results are compared to the actual line to see if you're on or behind, or if you need to do a little bit more work there. All of those type things will give you an indication as to what you need to do. Yeah, so that's one of the things that's something that we do as far as trying to make sure that it continues, of course, and that it year over year, and keeping the all the members informed as to what's going on.
Outstanding. Well, why don't we jump to your recommended strategies? You've had phenomenal growth, but with growth has come opportunities.
Oh, yes. Attrition, attrition, attrition. Attrition is one of those, it's a natural thing that's going to occur. It's very unlikely that, or quite frankly, it's impossible that you'll stop at 100%. So the best thing you can do is slow the bleed. There are going to be reasons that people leave your club beyond your control. You need to make sure that it's not because of the way the meetings are formatted or anything like that. So when you look into the system, just as Jason was showing this as well, it'll show you those problems to solve, if you will. And ours is attrition. And you can see on the slide right here, there are just so many things that are recommended here. One of them that I never thought of was this one called a new member class project. Like that's something worthy of taking a deeper dive on. So the key thing is you get recommendations, or you have recommendations right before you to help you with those problems to solve. None of us have all the answers. And I'm just glad that the other people have recommendations, or they've gone down the same type of path and can provide you some type of insight as to what could help. So that's why I love this, that our system will provide you this.
It's like I said, you've really got a great handle on this. I want to jump ahead we're running a little long, but if you could make one recommendation to a new club president to realize sustainable membership growth, what would that be?
Let me think about that, because that's, I guess the biggest thing I would say is making sure you understand your numbers, which would relate right back to the slide that's before you right now. Ideally, you want to be in a situation to say, are we on our number? Are we behind? Where do we need to be? And if you developed a great plan, a good strategic plan at the very beginning, all you're having to do now is to work that plan and track progress. And if you're not meeting those numbers, if you're behind the pace line, what are you going to do to recover for the month that you just lost? So my key recommendation is doing everything you can to make sure that you're looking at this progress dashboard.
Outstanding. Yeah, we've got great tools in the Membership Success Center. So any final thoughts you'd like to share real quick?
Well, the only other thing that I would say as far as a final thought is concerned, because I was thinking about this when Jason was going through his, is to realize none of us have all of the answers, but we have a lot of answers out there. And a lot of people have gone through some of the same things that you may be going through in your club. So what I wrote down when Jason was talking was like mind mapping. Oh, that's a great idea. So it is something that I wrote down that I definitely want to share with our president-elect and president nominee, as another way of thinking about it. In addition to the SWOT analysis, here's another one. We've got something called mind mapping that we can use. Use the
Outstanding stuff,
resources.
Albert.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Albert. This is great stuff. I've seen a lot of questions come through in the chat. So will you stick around with us for Q&A?
I'd be delighted to.
Well, that's awesome. So we're going to now move to our MSC tidbit. But Mary Ligon, our Zone 34 membership coordinator, will introduce our membership tidbit this month.
Thank you, Don. This month's MSC tidbit is a how-to on using the Membership Success Center to help you with your club membership planning process. That starts on the membership goals page, where you find all of the membership history and statistics for your club. Now, these are highly predictive. For example, you know in advance about how many members you will need to replace in the upcoming year. The membership goal page also identifies your club's exact problem to solve, whether that's high attrition, insufficient attraction, or perhaps both. It also provides downloadable membership plan templates and plan formats, so you don't have to start with a blank sheet of paper. And when you're all finished, it provides a place to upload your membership plan, where your membership committee and club leadership have easy access to it. So do yourself a favor, watch the video and start working on your club membership plan. Before we move into the Q&A segment, I want to take a moment to share with you so you can appreciate the behind-the-scenes team that plan and implement these monthly webinars. Some of us you see on the screen a lot, but in addition, there is George Robertson Burnett, Chris Jones, Chris Justice, Andy Van Hook, Audley Knight, Barbara Goby, Terry Weaver, and Mike Dara, among others. So, now, let's move into the Q&A with our extraordinary and most valued RI staff and moderator, Zones 33, 34, Supervisor of Membership Growth and Engagement, Jose Gonzalez. We thank you, Jose, as well as all those others for the work y'all do.
Miss Mary, thank you very much for the introduction. And you are correct. Thank you very much to all those that behind the scenes that put in so much time and effort to ensure that these MAP webinars are as spectacular as they are. And so now let's move forward with our Q&A segment. But like before, I would like to remind you, please drop your questions into the chat in all caps if possible. That way we can easily identify them. Our panelists, of course, are our speakers for the day, Jason Alfonso and Albert Blackman. With that, let's begin our Q&A. The first question we have today is for Jason. Jason, you mentioned before you crafted a membership growth plan, you conducted a member satisfaction survey and even combined it with a prior exit survey. I'd like to ask, why did you start with these surveys as part of your plan, and what format did you conduct the surveys?
So the reason we did that is I was relatively new to membership at this club, and I just wanted a good feel for, what exactly it was, an unbiased approach to, what exactly was what worked for the club and what did not work for the club. And the only way was a good survey. Those exit interviews, thankfully we had them. Those exit interviews went a long way in identifying some of that stuff. It helped us really dive in. We were able to kind of pick up words and then use that during our planning session of, how we could change to sort of increase and better our numbers.
Great. Thank you very much for expanding on that, Jason. And you're right. The exit surveys really do tell you the story of what worked, what didn't, and what you can do differently to prevent future Rotarians from leaving the club as well. So thank you very much for sharing with us. Our next question is for Albert. Albert, your club has demonstrated membership growth year over year for the last 3 years, growing from 20 members in 2019 to almost 80 now in 2026. What's the next strategy to maintain that momentum and continue to build on the success? Are you planning to do anything differently for this coming year?
A couple of things. Number one, I'm mind mapping this question right now as you speak. See, Jason, I tell you that was a great idea. Here's the deal. Here's what we have done, and I think we will continue to do as far as continuing to give options. We have designed this club to have divisions. We have a lunch division, an evening division, and a professional development program. So as far as future divisions, if you will, oh, and by the way, add the Interact Club. We consider them a division as well. We're thinking about a potential breakfast club one day. All of this just gives our citizens, our business people, our retired folks, just options. Can't make it to lunch, can't make it to the evening, maybe you can make it to a breakfast. So that's something else that we have on the radar screen. We just got so many balls in the air right now trying to maintain the 3 or 4 that we have now as far as divisions are concerned. We're just focused on that for now. But future expansion would be to look at different meeting options.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like, Albert, your divisions are simply providing alternative options for people, opportunities for them to engage and participate with the Indian Land Club in the manner that makes sense for them, whether it's morning, lunch, evening, the time that works best for their life.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
And Albert, because you mentioned Discover Rotary earlier, we had a question dropped in, wondering if you can expand on that a little bit for us. What exactly is a Discover Rotary session, and how often should they be conducted throughout the Rotary year for a club?
Well, let me start with the second part of that question. We have them twice a year. I do know there are some clubs in our district that will do them once a month. So you can have them as often as you feel, or you feel that you need to. Twice a year works really well for us. The purpose of Discovery Rotary is to take an individual that knows nothing about Rotary. So you've got two big limbs, if you will, or branches that you want to talk to them about. You want to talk to them about Rotary International as a global entity, an international entity, and you want to go really specific and talk about what you're doing locally in the community. And then you can fill in the gaps with all the other stuff that we do, whether it's the objects of Rotary that Jason alluded to, whether it's the four-way test, you get into all of that. And it's more of a situation where you don't feel uncomfortable because everyone else in the room is standing and you have no idea why. Or they start reciting this thing called a four-way test and you have no idea what that's talking about. So that's the purpose of it, is to give someone that knows nothing about Rotary a great assessment of what we do internationally as well as locally.
Great. Thank you very much for covering that, Albert. And additionally, if anybody has additional interest on how to host a Discover Rotary, our tech has actually dropped in a link into the chat that you can click on. It'll drive you to our Zone 3334 webpage that houses that information, including templates that you can utilize and replicate in your own club. So thank you again, Albert. Jason, we're bringing it back to you now. Can you expand for us on what the robust onboarding process looks like with the Rotary Club of Ultimate Springs? And I hope I pronounced that correctly. What are some of the general tasks that the new members have to complete in their first half of the year? You mentioned a Red Badge, Blue Badge program. Are there specific things they have to do in that first half of the year?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's our version of Discover Rotary. It's not an we do. There's certain things that they have to do. One of them is we require them to be a greeter at two of our meetings. So they don't know anybody in the club. The club doesn't know them. They have to shake everybody's hand when they come in, and that's a great way for them to get a name associated with a face and be able to kind of make that first connection. So that's one thing. We have them look at all our Facebook page, any kind of social media. We have them look at the Rotary website. We have them kind of sign up for RLI. I think we really believe that that's a driving force in retention. You know, this red badge can take anywhere from 4 to about a year, and in that list of things that they have to do, RLI features in that also. And we told them that the club offers to pay for it, so they want to be able to go. It'll go on our cost. They just have to sort of allocate some time. Yeah, that's a few of the things that go into our program. We'd be happy to kind of share that red badge program, that form that goes out. And one really important thing that we do is we have the sponsor and a mentor for every member, and the member goes through that sheet of paper not by themselves. They go through it with their sponsor and their mentor. So the mentor kind of guides them through that process. that's a little bit of our Red Badge program.
Jason, you read my mind because I was going to ask, can we see a copy of this? I'm sure everyone's going to want to see a copy of it so we can share it out. So please do, if you can, share it out. And I'm thrilled to hear you have a mentor-mentee program to almost guide them through it. I would imagine it's designed to help them actually facilitate from the very beginning to the end.
Absolutely. There's meetings, there's luncheon meetings with the mentor. They sit together with the mentor sometimes for our regular meetings, the social events. We really kind of build that relationship. I am here because of my mentor. I kind of stayed because he was that good and that influential in guiding me in
Jason,
that.
I know it that someone's going to ask in the chat, so I might as well ask now. How do you determine who are these mentors? Who's the mentor for each mentee?
We have the committee, and we kind of the membership committee kind of has a discussion of who in the club would best suit this one individual. Everybody joins for a certain reason. So we'd say, okay, this member joined because they liked the avenue of service, like this avenue of service, or they like the international aspect of Rotary. We'd make sure to tie that person with someone who has that international focus, or someone who has a focus working with a certain aspect of what we do as part of a certain service program that attracted them. We would tie them with that person. So that's how we make the determination. We ask the group for who all want to be mentors. Not everybody is a mentor. Not everybody has the patience to be the mentor. Not everybody has the desire to be a mentor. But those who do, that group of 7 to 8 people, we're able to sort of kind of uh, tie them to that incoming member with that committee.
I love it. You find the right person for the right job to put them in the right position so they support them through that journey. Thank you very much, Jason, for sharing. Albert, this one's in reference to the multiple divisions that you have in program speakers. How do you manage speakers with multiple meetings, times, and days? I'm sure this comes up often.
Yeah, I don't get any sleep, number one. That's the start of it. Actually, we have a program chair that works on that. And for the evening club, we have an assistant secretary, if you will, for that club. And she takes on that responsibility as well. Now, with our evening club, they only meet twice a month. The first meeting, I know it sounds a little complicated, but it works. The first meeting is a combined meeting with our professional development group and the evening club. So that's one speaker. And the second meeting, they figure out whatever they want to do. It could be a visit somewhere. It could just be, you know what, we're just going to have a couple of rounds of, I don't know, liquid dinner this night, whatever the case may be, and just socialize. So it's up to them what they want to do in the second meeting. So it's really once a month that they will have a former speaker. Now, the lunch club, we have a speaker almost, it's weekly, almost every Tuesday. And if they're a really good speaker, we'll ask them to come to both divisions.
So,
I'll agree with Albert about these divisions. They're really important, and you're meeting the member where they're at. I mean, we had part of our mind mapping was the creation of the Impact Club, and we were able to really take off with membership because of that also. So just to second what Albert is saying, find the member where they're at. Divisions, a different way of being a Rotarian is key to both our success.
It's a golden
Jason,
bullet.
I'm glad you brought that up because someone asked that they noticed you had an impact club mentioned in your planning. Have you chartered an impact club? Is that on the horizon?
Oh no, we do. In fact, the growth in that club is fantastic. We are so fortunate to have them. It's one of the best things we did. That stagnation we've got is gone. We have this entire group of very enthusiastic members that just don't want to make our breakfast club or don't want to be burdened by the breakfast club, and they're doing so well. In fact, they power our meetings, social events. They power our community service events. They uh, they are taking up roles in our public image, in our social media. They've just kind of made us a better club, and we're so fortunate that we have them. Uh, they're no different from our regular membership. They are our membership. We hold them very dearly. We don't treat them differently. They just kind of have made us a better club. So
Jason, thank you very much for expanding on that and sharing with us. I'm sure everyone's really thrilled to be able to hear on one of the many ways that you can expand their current club by adding on a companion, an impact club, a silent club, whichever format you decide to pursue, to have people join your club in the manner that works best for them. So thank you very much. Now, with that, we are now at the end of our Q&A segment. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we all did and came away from it with some newfound knowledge. I would like to say thank you to Jason and Albert for sharing your time, knowledge, and experience with us today. Additionally, I have to say thank you to all of you, our webinar attendees, for the engaging questions. We could not do this segment without all of you, so thank you very much for your time. Next, stay tuned for our upcoming webinar topic and other upcoming events. Andy, can you let us know what is on the horizon, sir?
For you, Jose, anything, my friend. Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Albert, for your time and your insights today. We know our webinars are packed with a lot of great insights, just like Albert and Jason gave us. We also recognize that sometimes the best ideas come from open dialogue. That's why we're launching the Map Lounge, a casual come-as-you-are Zoom space to further the conversation. The Map Lounge isn't another presentation. It's your opportunity to talk, share, and connect. Whether you have a question, a challenge, or an idea sparked by today's webinar, this is your place to bring it. Think of it like Rotary Fellowship meets a strategy session. So grab a cup of coffee and join us in the Map Lounge this Saturday, April 18th at 10 a.m. You know, if you were here in March, you identified your club's problem to solve. Today, we worked on your blueprint for success. In May's MAP webinar, you'll learn successful strategies going forward so you can close out your year strong and kickstart next year's success. Register now for the May MAP webinar held on Monday, May 11th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And we're here to support you every step of the way. Got questions, ideas? Just scan the QR code. We'd love to hear from you. You're not alone in this journey. We are here for you from the MAP and the membership team. Thank you for being with us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next one on May 11th. Have a great evening.